Hey guys!
Hey. What's up?
Yeah. So before we start talking, can we just say a big thank you? Okay, the first video. Great. I mean, didn't expect that.
Yeah, I know we're just beginners and it's my problem.
People follow me.
I understand, like, we're just beginners, but still, that was actually pretty lit.
Yeah. Okay, so cooking. Is cooking a woman's thing? Do you think, like, I'm just trying to know if it's like, you know, in our DNA
like,
or something?
Is it encrypted if that's mandatory?
Biology, we did like genetics.
Yeah. Did you
I don't
see
remember.
it? I don't
seen it.
I don't recall.
So why do
seeing it
people
either.
like have the
idea?
perception, yeah, or the idea that like
And
a woman's life is
Revolves around like
it's
cooking.
not even like
kitchen or
cooking in
clean.
general. Just like why?
For women, yeah. So yeah, we really want to dissect that because the three of us, right, we're feminists, and we've had this discussion like a lot because it's something that we experience all the time at home, and I think a lot of people, whether Nigerian or African or whatever you are, you know, we've kind of experienced it to some extent.
How many of you have been
exclusive
told
to jumbase.com
that you should learn how to cook and clean because you know these are the things you do?
Get married one day. All of us. Where it's like you should learn how to cook because one day you're gonna get married. One day you're gonna have a husband. It's just like
You know what my mom
is that
says?
what my potential is? Is that where it lies?
Thank you very much. Is that my
I did-
potential? My
I didn't get
my kinetic?
Let me know.
And you know, my mom says this thing a lot of times. She's like, is this what you're going to do in your husband's house? Or if you cannot cook, who is going to marry you?
This was actually the thing that kind of got me into feminist. Like this was my early feminist stage. Was when one time my mom called me into the kitchen. I was like, oh, come and learn to cook, and I should learn how to do it because this is what I do in my husband's house.
Exactly,
not
something.
annoyed, not like annoyed, and I couldn't tell like what it was exactly.
Because it's not something they're not saying, hey, cook so you can
Cook
like
for
learn
yourself,
to
exactly.
cook for yourself
That's
and be
the
in your
problem.
home.
Cook
Because
so
one
you-
day I'm not gonna
you know,
be cooking
don't
for you
starve.
every day.
The problem is not that cooking is bad or that we don't like cooking. The problem is how people associate cooking with gender, with women, with females. Like not just cooking, cleaning, things like that. So when you say things like we should learn how to cook because we're women,
So like what it's intended
it's
for.
like when you say things like that, it's sexist because cooking is the ability to nourish oneself with meals. And I feel like nourishing is something that everybody should know how to do. You know, you get it's something that generally we should know how to do, and we should learn how to do it because it's good for us, not because we're women. You get? And there's that whole thing that, and it's sad that like this is the mentality of it. This is the mentality of a lot of women, girls, females, ladies, I don't know, out there. So when they think that catering in general, a lot of women think that when they cater to their man, that he's not going to leave them.
Exactly. They think like pampering him like a kid, you're just gonna keep him. No, that's just make it worse for yourself because where's the respect is obviously gonna be lost for you.
Yeah.
If someone is not staying because they love you for who you are, if they are staying because you can they like your meals and things like that, that's kind of like superficial. Do you get what I'm saying? And then this whole like wife material thing, let's talk about that please. This whole, you know,
That actually like if
First of all, like it's a form of objectification.
thank you very much.
Because
Ankara girls.
because you don't do that.
You don't.
You don't like.
It's true.
You don't. It's sad. Like you don't expect
Tragic.
women to. There are like these ideals that women should
we're supposed to like
to.
live up to.
Yeah.
But this is what makes you a
A
mature
woman.
woman.
Yeah.
You're a woman
Like,
if
and
you go to the market.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
a woman if you
It's
cook
kind of
all the different types of Nigerian soups. You're a woman if you have cleaned the house from top to bottom.
Our house help at home. One time she told me that I'm not fully a woman because I've not gone to the market. So technically all these things, you know, that are on me, they just represent
that whole
manhood.
I know that whole like period of time where we grew and you know
Exactly.
that moment I guess just
Like
weird things those were
It's just like
becoming a woman.
a part of these gender roles. Like
gender
enforcing
roles,
gender
exactly.
roles.
That's the problem.
And
It stifles people. It like puts you in one
Exactly.
But
They make it
Exclusive
seem
to
like
JohnBiz.com.
you're the head of the house, but they won't say, because they'll always say the man is the head of the house, even though you're the one taking all the responsibility for
doing
everything
everything.
that's
Yeah.
happening. And another thing is, if we're in a relationship, it's a two thing. It takes
my
two
God.
people to be in a
Oh my
relationship.
God.
So it's like, if we're both in it, we should both be equal.
yeah.
We're not trying to like demean these things in any way. We're just saying that you can't expect an entire gender. It's like expecting an entire race to operate a certain way.
Exactly.
You can't expect an entire gender to do these things. Not every woman is like.
Exactly, like it's the whole like feminism thing is a matter of choice. We're not saying cooking is bad, we're not saying cooking is the ultimate thing. We're saying that if you love it, do what you love, whether you're male or you're female. It shouldn't have to do, it should have nothing to do with your gender.
Now we want to talk about like how these things go beyond like the framework of the household. You actually now take a step further and enforce it in educational systems like Nigeria, for example. I love my country so much, but like, dude.
For example, the school that I went to, we have like a boys' school of the school, and in our school we had like a wide variety of subjects to choose from. There was food and nutrition. I did food and nutrition because I like cooking. Everybody knows, but my friend, for example, my friend told me that in his school, in the boys' school of our girls' school, they didn't have food and nutrition as a subject, and unfortunately for him, he loves cooking. So please, why isn't it a subject there? Why is it a subject? There's no subject there because it's expected that we should do it.
They don't even expect them to clean like their classes when they're done.
Or when
Which
you said
is funny
they don't
because
clean their tables.
they don't clean their tables, which is funny because we had
Exclusive to
to
JohnBiz.com.
clean classes, we had to clean after ourselves in the cafeteria.
Yes.
All our punishments were
revolved around
domestic
cleaning.
oriented.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's like these are like kind of subliminal messages, but also surface things to let you know that this is what you should be doing.
Exactly. Like I'm
it's
sure
not right.
in their school they didn't have to scrub toilets when they did something wrong. But why is it that in our school we had to do this? Why is it that there's a university in Nigeria where the girls' hostel has kitchens but the boys' hostel don't have kitchens? Anyway, and I asked my mom, right, why it's like that, and she said, you know, guests like to cook, so that's why they need it. Then this is the part that annoyed me. She now said, and if there were kitchens in boys' hostels, they could burn it down.
Are they that dumb? They would actually set a fire. Like, I'm pretty sure they know how to
Look,
work
this
their
girl
way
almost
around.
set up a fire yesterday,
Nah,
and she's a girl.
hey.
To just add to like what we're saying, they kind of make it seem like cooking and cleaning and domestic activities are where like our
women,
values
yeah.
as women
Lies, exactly.
So like you don't mature until
Until
you
you-
do these things. You're not a full woman until you, which is, forgive my French, bull.
Bullcrap. And the downside of it is there are two ones that I want to mention. Is that one, it puts women in competition between themselves, because you see women say, my husband is enjoying more than that man's husband because I'm feeding him, giving him nice things.
They'll be showing
And then
it off like it's.
showing it off as if you should hold pride.
Why are you taking pride in that? Like, good for you.
Okay.
That's where your pride lays. Like,
It's like that some women have that like if he's not enjoying my food or if the house isn't clean enough,
He's
then
going to
he'll probably bring in someone else.
Bring in
It's
someone
like,
else or throw me out of the house.
Yeah, and my tenure here is, which is funny because I thought you were partners.
Exactly. Why should your husband's love for you be based on your cooking skills or things like that?
Exactly.
And also, the second thing is that it makes women and men in general belittle domestic things like cooking.
Exactly, yeah.
So in turn, they now belittle housewives and things like that.
Yeah,
You get?
not realizing that it's one of the hardest working jobs out there.
And I respect housewives because, believe you me, their jobs are as demanding as office jobs, as white collar jobs. Don't belittle the whole housewife thing. They do a lot. They sacrifice a lot. They make sure there's food on the table. They make sure the children are
dressed and have
thank
clothes
you.
on.
I think
Every
like that.
job there are like certain skills that you learn, and like with housewives, compassion and sacrifice.
Yes.
Long suffering, like patience.
Yeah, and we're not
That's
saying like all men
getting.
like don't see that. Like there are definitely like a handful or more that actually like understand what we're saying. Not that they understand, but they know.
Yeah,
They
they're
can
aware.
tell they're aware.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
for those of you who aren't aware, It's not
watch
a
this
female
video
gene
then.
It's
to
not
do domestic stuff.
And to the women out there who experience these things, if you actually do love cooking, don't let anybody now make you feel like if you love staying in the kitchen, you're that kind of woman.
First of all,
Don't hate it because of the name
prove them
around
wrong.
it. Prove them wrong. If you love something, do it. And at the same time, please, if it's not your thing, stop trying to force it to get just so a guy will look at you.
Exactly.
Let him be.
If he's not even aware of it, himself, that's another thing you should be looking for. If he actually belittles women for that, then that's not technically. Why are you even looking for that?
When they do things like this, when they expect women to do these things and put these as our rules, it makes it look like our ambitions are useless. Women that aspire to be lawyers, aspire to be doctors, it looks like they can be all these things, but if they can't be the woman, the wife, you get, then they really not achieved much. And so there's that whole like there are successful women out there who no one wants to marry them, things like that.
Whether it's because they're like intimidated by them, and it's just like, why? You should be happy that your partner is successful and can actually take care of himself. You both, like I said, it takes two people to be in a relationship. You should both be able to provide for each other. You should both be on the same level. If I'm working late and then you're not able to cook for yourself and you're relying on me to come, I'm not gonna come back and then go back to work.
Thank you. No. I'll be in the office having a business. I said, sorry, give me a second to go make a way for my husband.
Exactly.
Do you not have legs? No. I don't understand.
Like, you can learn, even if it's like not full course meal, you should still be able to learn how to take care of things yourself. I'm not your mother. Don't tell me to be there all the time. If you want your mom, like I said, go home. Go back home.
A lot of men are they're not looking to marry their their soulmates. They're looking to marry their mothers.
As we're talking about tropes of like the successful women that can't
exclusive to
one has a career, so she can't have the husband. Then the woman has a husband but can't have a career. So the media as a tool to enforce these gender roles and stereotypes, where like the women that don't fulfill these ideals are punished. The thing people don't realize about the media, any art form, is that as humans we look to it for like expression of who we are. If I see this, it means that like if I don't do this, if I don't perform in this way or conform to this thing, I'm going to be punished. Like I'm not going to get the guy. I'm going to maybe especially Nollywood is the king of this thing. Acid thrown in her face, battery.
Like I was watching Jennifer's Diaries, and as much as that thing is funny, you can't help but notice the little sexism that existed. Toyosi's, for those of you that watch it, you know the character that I'm talking about. Toyosi's brother, right, had a girlfriend or fiance, I'm not very sure, and she wasn't the cooking, cleaning, kitchen, domestic woman type, you get, and he didn't like that. So he decided to teach her a lesson, right, by pretending to be with Jennifer, who was doing all these things for him, so that she can see it and start doing those things.
And that's the type of thing that can actually
and the fact that
relationship.
the fact that she actually like started feeling like, oh god, I'm going to lose him, and she actually started doing those things. It pissed me off.
You have the wrong mindset.
And another like exhausting thing to kind of round up is when, because it's in our genes apparently to do these things, when the almighty men down from their thrones to step into the kitchen for the first time and
God's sake,
grab a plate.
Oh, this is a pan?
Exactly. When they actually do things
Exclusive
that
to
we are
Jumbo.com.
entitled to do.
Everyone throws them in party.
Everybody's like, wow,
Which
like,
are
everybody's so
not
amazing. And then
No one gives us praise for those things because it's things that we're expected to do. But when men do it, it's like they came off their high horse.
This video isn't even like touching on the many harmful ways that these messages affect young
people,
impressionable girls.
Even-
But like, yeah, we're just like highlighting certain things because
It's still a
sexism
lot.
is like broad, systemic, it's institutional, like it goes beyond just three of us, you get. So don't think you deserve a pat on the back because you made
Because you're not,
it.
if you're one of the guys that we talked about, open your eyes, open them, and
your
become
eyes.
aware. You are not
Get
a god.
busted.
You're not on the
Like-
same level as any god. So
let's try and not be blind to these things that happen. Don't come at feminists, for example, and say, you know that these things exist. You know that these gender roles exist. You know that there's something unfair in the society that we live in.
And if you don't know what I'm telling you.
If you don't know what I'm telling you, so try and like be a part of change, for Christ's sake. Yeah.
Try to help the change.
Yeah.
Try to help other people become aware. Pause real quick.
There's a bug.
Die.